Taoiseach, in 5 days, Abdul Rahman al-Sadan, who is a Red Crescent humanitarian worker from Saudi Arabia, is going to be sentenced by the Saudi regime for 20 years for a tweet. He is, along with about 70 other democracy activists, facing between 10 years and 30 years each, persecuted by the Saudi regime that, let's remember, carved Jamal Khashoggi into pieces in the Saudi embassy in Turkey, almost certainly at the behest of Crown Prince bin Salman. But now we get this young man going to get 20 years for a tweet. Totally peaceful activist. Now, even Nancy Pelosi has called on the Saudi regime to release Abdul Rahman. And I would ask that 5 days before this sentence, if you believe in anything like the right of peaceful democratic protest, the right to dissent, to call out the Saudi regime and ask for Abdul Rahman's release. And I will say, just in relation to another matter, while this is shocking stuff compared to what some people have to put up with, and I wouldn't make the sort of loose comparisons that Deputy McGrath made earlier on, I do find it worrying that we are now seeing, under the guise of public health restrictions, political policing by Drew Harris of a protest that was fully compliant with public health guidelines planned tomorrow by taxi drivers, and you should call that out too.
First of all, Deputy Boyd Barrett raised the situation in terms of the decision by the Saudi Arabian authorities in respect of Abdul. I didn't get the situation. Yeah, and I think I will pursue that. I do believe there are issues in terms of quite a range of issues in terms of human rights, freedom of assembly, and I certainly will discuss with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and that our ambassador will engage to support the avoidance of what would be a very severe penalty and the release of the individual concerned. I think it's a new development. It's not unprecedented in terms of the last year or so, but the degree to which deputies accuse, the Garda Síochána, or indeed the Commissioner, even though it has nothing at all to do with the question in terms of European Committee, of political policing, I think that should be withdrawn. It's my own personal view. I don't think it's a very unfair accusation to make, and it seeks to undermine the objectivity and operational independence of Garda Síochána and the Garda Commissioner, who've been given a very unenviable task in terms of the public health situation that currently presents itself to the country. Deputy Kelly raised the issue. It's about 915 in current prices in terms of what we can draw down in the first phase of the Recovery and Resilience Fund. And it depends, in terms of the second tranche, is in accordance with various economic criteria. If you recall, at the time, models of economic performance in relation to GDP and employment. Now, Ireland is growing our economy in the last 2 years in GDP terms, and that may impact on our second phase drawdown. The objective, and we are close to submitting a plan, and we've been engaged with the Commission on this, would be to, the theme of the Recovery and Resilience Plan is the two key themes are around the green economy, creating jobs in the green economy, and digital transformation. And we have been keen, and I've been keen myself, to ensure that there would be a significant inclusion around health digital transformation. For decades we've been talking about bringing health into the modern era. I think the COVID-19 has illustrated the degree to which it has caught up in some respects and has developed very good technology very quickly, the COVID app and even the vaccine technology system. So, yes, there will be provision in the plan in terms of a contribution to e-health in particular, to take a sort of once-off opportunity using this fund to try and accelerate technology application in our health system. And that is a clear objective. In terms of, I think Deputy Gannon and Deputy Kearns have raised the issue in terms of India, and we have provided very significant resources. We're a small country, but we will continue to do so. It is devastating what is happening in India, and I think it illustrates the danger of this virus and how rapidly it can get out of control. And in terms of the issue around intellectual property, I just would say that we need to be, we have to examine this in some detail. I can recall in 2003 when SARS was potentially becoming a global pandemic, there was zilch in the world in terms of manufacturing capacity or cooperation between pharmaceutical companies, between themselves or between pharmaceutical companies and governments.
Thank you, Taoiseach. We're going to have
on this occasion, the model that is developed
and the
model that has evolved, if you just make my point, has resulted in record, unprecedented production of vaccines in record
what stance
time.
will you be taking on Friday?
Taoiseach, we're going to. Sorry, we're beyond.
Sorry.
We're over time.